The Acer Swift 3 is the entry-level option in the company's lineup of thin and light laptops, coming in behind the Swift 7 and Swift 5. Starting at just £500, with this model I'm reviewing available for £650, it's around half the price of premium ultrabooks. Yet, the Swift 3 still has an all-aluminium body, an IPS screen, and decent overall specs. So, what's the catch? Well, there isn't one as far as I can tell. Okay, so one thing it certainly can't claim is to be the smallest or lightest laptop out there. It's a consistent 18mm thick, and the bezel around the screen is fairly large by modern standards, given it already uses a 14-inch rather than 13-inch screen, and the result is a machine with a markedly larger footprint than the likes of the Dell XPS 13. Still, weighing in at only 1.5 kilograms, it's 200 grams lighter than its main competitor, the Lenovo 510S, and is still plenty small and light enough that you could easily carry it around with you all the time. What's more, that metal exterior really does look good. Sure, there's not quite the fit or finish of £1,000 alternatives, but for the money it's impressive. There's a gold option too, if that's your thing. However, note that this isn't a unibody type of construction where the panels are milled from solid chunks of metal, like with a MacBook. As such, you don't get the same rigidity and sense of longevity that you do with the best built machines. In particular, the keyboard area flexes noticeably, though the screen is surprisingly sturdy and it has a fold-flat hinge. An advantage of this being larger than true ultrabooks is that you've got space for plenty of connectivity. You get one each of USB 2, 3 and Type-C, as well as an HDMI, SD card reader and headphone microphone combi jack. The Lenovo 510S has more USB 3 ports and includes an Ethernet adapter, but doesn't have USB Type-C, so it depends what your needs are as to which is the better option. As for the screen, it's a Full HD panel, so your penny pinching doesn't mean a loss of pixels. The IPS LCD tech also makes for great viewing angles, and the matte coating keeps reflections at bay. So far, so good. Initial impressions of overall image quality are decent too. Colours are reasonably accurate at a nice dark black level, makes for an impressive contrast ratio of 1360:1. However, maximum brightness is a touch low at 243 nits. The 510S is only 30 nits higher, but ideally I'd like to see both reach closer to 300, so they're better equipped for use in bright sunshine. Both of these laptops also have fairly poor sRGB colour space coverage. This gives the displays a slightly muted look, almost like opting for the movie mode on a TV. That still makes this laptop fine for general use, but means it's unsuitable for professionals working with pictures and video. As for the keyboard, it's largely very good. This UK version gets a proper UK set of keys, and the overall layout is spacious and easy to get along with. I'd rather the awkwardly positioned home, end, page up and page down keys were secondary functions of the cursor keys, but otherwise it's great. Likewise, the key action. It's light but responsive, and although the base does flex while typing, I didn't find it bad enough to be a problem. It's more good news when it comes to the trackpad. It's nothing special, but the aluminium surface provides smooth gliding, tracking is reasonably accurate, and although the click action is a bit stiff, it's still easy to use. I've certainly encountered worse on more expensive machines. Inside you get the choice of several Intel processors, starting with the Core i3-7100U, going up to the Core i7-7500U, while RAM is either 4GB or 8GB, and the SSD is either 128GB or 256. The entry-level option is exceedingly good value, even if it will lack a bit of performance. But for most people, it's this £650 configuration that I'm reviewing that is probably the best bet. You get a plenty fast enough CPU, plus the 8GB of RAM and 256GB SSD of the most expensive options. Alternatively, if you're tempted by the cheapest option but want a bigger SSD, it's an easy home upgrade. The configuration here delivers exactly the sort of performance you'd expect, which is to say it's essentially the same experience as £1,000 ultrabooks, such as the Dell XPS 13. The combination of the ample processor and nippy SSD means general day-to-day tasks fly by. Only those seeking true gaming performance or heavy lifting such as video encoding will need much more. But then this isn't the sort of laptop those sorts of users should be buying. All this and battery life is decent if not class leading. I measured 7 hours and 24 minutes with PowerMark, while the Lenovo 510S managed over 10 hours. However, watching an hour of Netflix and the Acer dropped only 10%, suggesting the company's claims of 10 hours battery life isn't far off. Also, that's comparing to last year's 510S with its most basic CPU option, so it's likely things will be a bit closer with like-for-like specs. In the end, this is without doubt an absolute bargain of a laptop. this £650 model offers essentially the same core experience as laptops twice its price, while the £450 version will be a little slower, but still absolutely fine for most users. Lined up against its most direct competitor, the Lenovo 510S, the Swift 3 has the slimmer, lighter, better looking chassis and Type-C USB, while the 510S has a slightly better screen and better battery life, and includes an Ethernet port. So it somewhat depends where your priorities lie, but I feel the Acer just about takes the victory.